Om Om Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tam Hadevam Atma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshur Vai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Today we are going to discuss Taittiriya Upanishad. This entire retreat, it will be Taittiriya Upanishad only. It is from Taittiriya Aranyak, which you will find in the Yajurved. So it's a very important Upanishad. You will see how beautiful the mantras are and how deeply meaningful to our lives. Only thing is, you must meditate along with this. See, that is something I want to spare you from. It's not just about reading and learning. You won't grasp this knowledge without meditation. Do you feel the truth of this? See, in Pangot, in places like this, you have absolute silence. Mornings, evenings, night. There's absolute silence. You must utilize that silence. Do you know why it is there? To give you a feel of the quietness of your mind. So if you once you get used to it, you will understand that unless I stop the noise, I can't think clearly even, not to speak of stopping thought. So you must get used to silence. I'm telling you, the Upanishadic knowledge, why is it that it comes only to a few people, is because they have learned to handle their mind. If the mind is just rolling on, and your memories and past conditioning, everything is just flowing out all the time, you can't get this. That's why a retreat is important, isn't it? You come, spend some quiet time, as much as possible, remain quiet and contemplative here and reflect on this. Then only this will come, because it is not a mere thought process which we will employ. Although it may feel like these are words and thoughts, it will take you beyond thought. That's the beauty of Vedant. It is Shabda Praman. It is that Praman which will take you beyond just thought process. It will take you to transcendental knowledge. So that's why it is the most important Praman for this form of knowledge. It is the direct evidence of the ultimate truth. Only Vedant can do this to you. But for that, the preparation of the mind is required, isn't it? If the mind goes on with what is happening on the job front or what's happening at home, and then this will not work. So here especially you must utilize this space. And let me tell you, the glory of the Upanishads, see, the more we reflect on this, the more we realize this is indeed the ultimate knowledge available to us. It has been put down in words. It's not easy to do that, because something so transcendental can't be brought into words and the spoken and written word. But they have managed to do that also to help us. So the Vedant consists of the words of the rishis. Who's a rishi? One who's a mantra drashta, one who has realized the meaning, the import, the significance of these mantras. Everything in the Upanishad is mantras. Okay, they are because they are deep insights, revelations into transcendental reality. They are not thought constructs. Are you getting my point? So that's why you will find sometimes they are disconnected. Because as the revelation has occurred, it has been put down. They are not trying to build a philosophy out of this, all that we did later on. But these are practical revelations in the minds of the rishis as a result of meditation, as a result of deep contemplation. And they arrived at this understanding. So if we have to study that, we must generate that state of mind. Otherwise, you will miss the significance. It's very deep. What is the subject matter of the Upanishads? Many times I have talked about this. See, they are not talking about your personality. They are not talking about the world of objects. They are talking about that which illumines your personality and the world of objects from within, your consciousness. It's a deep penetration into the bare nature of your consciousness, pure consciousness, what we say. Not thought, not into the nature of your thought process, not into the nature of your emotional drama, not into the nature of the different orientations of your will. It is a penetration into pure consciousness. And that is seen as the ultimate reality about you. That is called Brahman. Brihatvad Brahma. The vast truth about your own being is Brahman. It is of the nature of pure consciousness. In its light, thoughts flourish, emotions pop up, keep you entertained. But your nature is neither your thought nor your emotion. It is pure consciousness, pure being, actual existence. That's why, this Sat, Chit and Ananda go together. They are not like three descriptions or three attributes of your being. It is actually the same thing. Existence is consciousness, consciousness is bliss. But as long as the mind is, doing all this gymnastics, all these varied thought processes, you will not intuit this. So this stilling effect, that is why it is important. Especially when you want to intuit a reality like this. So they will tell you the kind of lifestyle to be adopted for this, because most people, this is where they falter. They feel they have got the knowledge of Vedanta as a thought form, as a thought construct. That's not enough. The reality of your being is not a thought. Is it a thought? In your being you think. See, awareness is not another thought. In your awareness you are thinking, isn't it? So this most fundamental aspect of your being, how will you know if you're busy with your thought? So little that has to be put down, regulated, and then we will get these flashes as the Vedic seers got it. What is Vedanta? It is the knowledge portion of the Vedas. The knowledge portion, the Jnanakanda. Because it was clearly seen that some mantras in the Vedas cannot be used for sacrificial rites. They are not meant for that. They are talking about something else. So it was put as a different portion of that literature, the knowledge portion, and it is directly you can see the signs of consciousness. It is talking about your consciousness. The unchanging aspect of your being. That is the subject matter of this. So that is Vedanta. Vedanta Nama Upanishad Pramanam. The evidence provided by the Upanishads towards the nature of my own consciousness is called Vedanta. Are you getting the point? See, it's very clear whatever they are meaning to say. If you read the Upanishads by yourselves, you may feel that, how is it that they jump from one idea to another? That's because in their consciousness, they were not jumping in ideation. It was a revelation, and then they stopped. Again, when they had the intuition, again they put it down. Again they stopped. That time they didn't even put it down. Though there was no writing in those days. How far back was the Upanishad? 5,000 years back. No writing. So it was just intuited and transmitted to their disciples by word of mouth. It was an oral tradition. The Vedanta, the actual Vedic tradition was entirely oral, which means it goes by word of mouth from teacher to disciple, teacher to student. So there were no books, there were no this iPad, these things to record. Completely you had to grasp it from the mouth of the teacher as it came, flashed in his intuition. So you see, that is why you must study Upanishads with a teacher. Hmm? If you don't find that kind of a thing, you can go to the book definitely, but it is very, very important for a mind which has dwelt on this for long to transmit this. So today so many departments are coming up, isn't it, on all this as the science of consciousness. The most important part of that is proper teachers. The teaching faculty should be imbued with this. Otherwise it will flop, isn't it? Because I'm telling you, it's not a thought construct. Everything else in the world under the sun is a thought construct. It's born of your thought. This is a knowledge quite beyond your thought. It is that level of your awareness which illumines the thought process. So it can come only from a man of meditation, isn't it? So this knowledge, that's why you see it was not very popular or common, because it's a high level intuition. And when you get it, you must capture it. It comes into many lives. But the thing is, we don't give it enough attention, so it escapes. We don't invest time and energy into it. But we all understand the truth of this, So many places I have spoken on this. Everyone is so interested for this simple reason. It's in your life. It's in the very structure of your experience, your consciousness. It is not in your thought. It's in your very experience. Pratibodha viditam matam. Your thought, your emotion, your will, your experience, whatever you mean by your experience, everything is due to your consciousness. So it is there even before you think about it. Isn't it? It's there before you philosophize about it. So this fundamental nature of reality, of your existence, this is being tracked here. This is being spoken of. So it's a very powerful piece of literature. See, I'll tell you how I studied the Upanishads. Not like this, sitting on a easy chair or a cot and studying and then putting it down when you get bored. Not like that. You must study it after your meditation. After your meditative hours, go to this, because this is the most precious piece of literature on the planet. These are not my words, these are the words of Schopenhauer, the great German philosopher. He said this: most important literature on the planet because it is talking of the deepest level of our awareness. So he said that it's so important, so you should give it your most precious hours, isn't it? The time after meditation is like that. Your mind is very sober, very mature at that time, very calm. So at that time, if you expose yourself to this, penetrate into this, you will just get it. So try to do this at least here. After your meditation, go to the Upanishads. It will refresh you. It's like Ganga Snan. It will refresh your mind. This constant turmoil of thought, you must put it aside a little and try to see what is it that illumines my thought process. How do I know through thought? Who knows? Who's that I in me? My I sense is about what? What's the import of this I sense? If you check it out and see, at once Upanishads will become very relevant, very important. Because actually I will give you the summary of the Upanishads. The I sense within you is totally disconnected from everything. Your body, your mind, your thoughts, your emotion, everything. It has no relationship with anything. Because it is a reflection of the self, the Atman. This I sense within you. See, even when you're not thinking, it is there. That's why you know you are not thinking. When you're thinking also, it's there. That's why you know you're thinking. Are you catching what I'm saying? Your I sense gets invested in the thought process by choice, not by default. So things are going on mechanically. As much as you want, you can appropriate to yourself and create an identity for yourself. But if you don't want to do that, you will catch the I sense as it is. And that is the knowledge of the Upanishad. It is about pure being. It is about the nature of, you can say, unsullied, untouched awareness. The awareness that has not yet got invested in the thought process. So it is a very deep level knowledge. Only those who pursue it one-pointedly get it. Getting it means being absorbed in it. Another thing I'm telling you. Getting it doesn't mean I got a flash of insight, now it's done, I got that knowledge. That will come. That flash of insight will come. But still deepen it so that it results in a continuous revelation of your true being all the time. You are being what you truly are, isn't it? Be what you are. You don't have to be what you are not. Everything else is assumed. Think and see. It's through the thought process. See, I may be a professor somewhere in some big university. That is how the world looks at me. What is it? What am I to myself? What is my perception of my being? It is only how aware you are deep within yourself. That much of your being you are experiencing. So this knowledge is neither given to you by the world nor will be taken away by it. When you stand on it, you become independent of things. That is why. This is strength. This is power. This is life. Isn't it? Every other knowledge, somebody has to nod. Somebody has to give you the degree. Somebody has to value it for you. This knowledge is not like that. But only when you have this knowledge, you will give things the place they deserve. Give everything its proper value. So unless you deepen this level of knowledge, you are only functioning by the dictates of the world. Yes. This knowledge gives you inner independence, strength, what Vivekananda called freedom. So that's why I can't tell you the glory of this knowledge. You have to discover it for yourself. And the beauty of the Upanishads is directly they are telling you, without mincing words, directly. So we'll go directly into the text. See, Taittiriya Upanishad is a very big Upanishad. So in this 6 days, I can't go into the entire portion. The most important portions we will go into. And that which is relevant to you, which will make a lot of sense to your practical life, that portion I will go into. You can learn to chant with me each mantra. So I will pause after each mantra and you can chant with me. That way you will learn how to chant the Upanishad also. And there are ways in which you can actually learn the chanting. Even after this talk, you can always practice the chanting. Okay? So let's go into the Upanishad. Go to the peace chant first. The Shanti mantra. Shanno Mitra Sham Varuna. It's on page 245. I am using 8 Upanishads by Swami Gambhirananji. The first volume has Taittiriya Upanishad. See, you have to follow how I chant and then repeat. Okay? Shanno Mitra Sham Varunaha. Shanno Mitra Sham Varunaha. Shanno Bhavatvaryama. Shanno Bhavatvaryama. Shanna Indro Brihaspatihi. Shanna Indro Brihaspatihi. Shanno Vishnu Rurukramaha. Shanno Vishnu Rurukramaha. Namo Brahmane. Namo Brahmane. Namaste Vayo. Namaste Vayo. Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi. Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi. Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami.
त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि
ऋतं वदिष्यामि
ऋतं वदिष्यामि
सत्यं वदिष्यामि
सत्यं वदिष्यामि
तन्मामवतु
तन्मामवतु
तद्वक्तारमवतु
तद्वक्तारमवतु
अवतु माम्
अवतु माम्
अवतु वक्तारम्
अवतु वक्तारम्
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
इति प्रथमो अनुवाकः. The meaning is Shanno Mitra Sham Varunaha. May Mitra be blissful to us and may Varuna be blissful to us. These were the Vedic gods. See, in the Vedic age, the forces of nature, all the forces of nature, all these gods were the rulers of the forces of nature. They were worshipped. Mitra, Varuna, Aryaman. So then Shanno Bhavatu Aryama, which means may Aryaman be blissful to us. May Indra and Brihaspati be blissful to us. May Vishnu of long strides be blissful to us. And salutations to Brahman. Salutation to you, O Vayu, who indeed are the immediate Brahman. Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi. See, all these gods, how were they looked upon? As aspects of Brahman, who were wielding each of the forces of nature. The wind, the waters, the air, the fire. These gods were worshipped. So you alone I shall call the direct Brahman. Because Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi. Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami. I will call you as the direct Brahman because I can see you. I shall call you righteousness. This is there. Satyam Ritam Vadishyami. Satyam Vadishyami. I shall call you truth. And may this Brahman protect me. May he protect the teacher. May he protect me and the teacher. Om, peace, peace, peace. See how they looked upon these deities as nothing but Brahman Pratyaksha, a representation or manifestation of Brahman, the ultimate truth of existence. So that's why we did not have who's the greater God, who's the lesser God, or quarrels between my God and your God, because they are all manifestations of the same existence, same reality. Isn't it? See, in the Vedic age, this is how it was perceived. Because they understood Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. Truth is only one. Sages call it variously. And sages will call it variously, isn't it? According to their path, they will, yes, that God they will worship. So this form of worship, pluralistic worship, what we call today, was perfectly accepted. Anybody can worship any being and attain to the highest goal. Everything was accepted. See, it was this freedom in religion which was so very important for the acceptance of all paths. All religions are nothing but paths to God, isn't it? Every path is valid. So we never had, in the Vedic age, there were no such quarrels. They didn't have to have interfaith conferences to have peace. The point was this, that they believed that all of reality is one and the different viewpoints are the different paths. So anybody having another viewpoint, not that he's wrong and I'm right, that's just sheer egoism, isn't it? To think like that. He is right and I am also right. I have found my path to God and he has found his path to God. So everything is accepted. Every religion is a valid path to God. This was Sri Ramakrishna's experience. He actually traveled that way. He actually practiced every religion and came to the conclusion they all lead to the same consciousness which we are calling God. the same divine consciousness. So what are we quarreling about? Meaningless. So you see, this vision, it was the Vedic vision fundamentally. So that is why you see Hinduism is strong on all these points. Do you know how the word Hinduism came into existence? In the Vedic age, it was not called the Hindu religion. It was Sanatana Dharma. These are eternal truths for changing societies. These are truths about the eternal nature of your consciousness. That is called Sanatana Dharma. So Sanatana Dharma, you see, anybody discovering this truth is part of Sanatana Dharma. How did the word Hindu come about? See, the Persians, they could not spell the word Sindhu. So the people on the other side of the Sindhu, they called Hindu. So we didn't mind it. So we became Hindu. So in those days, it used to be like that. We used to name according to the rivers and mountains and the natural beauty of the place. Even today, actually, many people are identified with the place and some significant mountain or river in that place. So this is how the word Hindu came about, and then the people who followed those particular practices of the Hindu religion were called Hindus, and the religion was called Hinduism. But from the standpoint of the Hindus, they considered themselves Sanatana Dharmis because they believed that these revelations are Sanatana, eternal, because they are not concocted by a thought process, by a mind, by any form of conditioning. They are the natural truths of existence. Anybody can find these truths, not just the Hindus, not just the Sanatana Dharmis. Because it is Sanatana Dharma. It is the truth of existence. That is why it is a science. See, science doesn't have boundaries, isn't it? That only I can realize it. Only in India we can do science. You can't do. Science means what is true here must be true anywhere on the planet. A law discovered here applies everywhere. That it is universal in nature. Then it's a science. So that is why this is the science of consciousness. Anybody doing it anywhere will find the same truth. The nature of pure consciousness does not differ anywhere. Any sentient living being, his nature is the nature of actual existence. His real nature. His personality will be different because his mind will be differently conditioned according to the culture of that place, according to his experiences. But his fundamental nature as pure existence will not differ. So this becomes a universal science and philosophy. That's why it was called Sanatana Dharma. Please remember, all your science comes from philosophy. Don't think that we are superior to philosophical systems. All science has always come from philosophy. What is PhD? Yes, tell me. Full form of PhD. Doctor of the philosophy of that subject. Because philosophy is nothing but knowledge or thought process about that subject. Science rises from there. So if you have a wonderful philosophical background, you will be very scientific. Please remember, there's no difference between the two. So that is why the science of consciousness today stands on this philosophy. This is a penetration into the nature of my own existence. Who's the subject here? Me. Which is the lab here? Me. And what is the nature of this research? First person research. It's a first person methodology completely. See, once I asked my group of students, I teach at a university, and there were 18 students, and I asked them, tell me they didn't know Vedanta and all that, not yet. They weren't conditioned in any form of thought process. So we asked them, what feels like the most fundamental thing about you? Is it your thought? Is it your emotion, your ideas, your learning, or your awareness? What feels most fundamental to your nature? They thought for a minute and said, Mataji, it is awareness. Then I said, isn't it your thought? They said, no, no, no. Because I'm capable of not thinking and realizing it. So yeah, that's why I told you Vedanta is in the structure of your experience. You can know it. It is not in books. It is not in learning. It is the very fact that you are thinking of this now is due to the Atman, the self within you. Pure, the unit of pure consciousness that makes all your faculties work. So you see, that is why in the Vedic lore you will find all these observations. I call that righteousness. I call that truth. Because it is an unchanging aspect of your being, your existence. And may that truth protect me and may it protect my teacher so that our learning becomes fruitful. Isn't it? What should be the result of this knowledge? A great life. A life, a conscious life, a life lived in consciousness. It is a full life, not a dazed life, Living in a daze, living half conscious, which means half life. Isn't it? Am I right? See, when you are not even conscious of how long you slept, what you should do today, then you're not living a full life. Many of our young people are like that, no? आज क्या करना है पता नहीं, इतना bored है. I'm so bored, I don't know what I should do today. No, living just one small slice of life, that's all. The more conscious you are, the more you will live life. Full consciousness is full life. These are the equations. So this is an invitation to live a full life. Don't think full life means I gather all the things of the world in my room. That is not a full life. That is a cluttered life. Full life means I am so fully conscious, I know where to place each thing. I know how to value each thing. And my consciousness itself will give me immense joy from within. I'm not a beggar for joy. Isn't it? See, for many people, life is nothing but a kind of a meaningful interaction to get some joy into their lives, because by themselves they are so miserable. We have reduced ourselves to these states, please understand. The nature of consciousness is bliss. So if you become intensely conscious within yourself, you will experience joy by yourself. Not due to an object, not that synthetic joy, original joy. Can anybody take this away from you, tell me? See, this is the strength of Sanatana Dharma, please remember, when you stand on your own feet. And this truth, even if nobody proclaimed it to the world, people will discover it. Please know this, because it is the truth of your existence. It is Sister Nivedita writes so beautifully in her introduction to Complete Works that these truths would have remained because they are Sanatan truths, they are eternal truths. But it was required to give them a new manifestation in a new idiom. That is why Vivekananda came. And power, it was important to energize them in a way, bring them into the forefront of human thought. So please remember, these truths are so powerful, ever existent. And the more you discover, the more you will gain in life. The entire Upanishad is talking about this, you will see. So this is what the peace chant says. Every Upanishad begins with a peace chant like this, so that our mind becomes prepared to receive what we are going to receive. See, if you don't value a knowledge, you will, it will not influence you, it won't change you. Only when you learn to value it highly, regard it highly, then it will have power to change you. So they are generating that value in your mind by saying, by the peace chant, bring your mind to the right perception of things and understand this knowledge. Hmm? And here Om Shanti 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 is all kinds of this Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika, Adi Daivika, all aspects may they be peaceful, may they be propitious to us. The natural elements, my own inner mind, and the various circumstances around me may all be propitious. May all living beings around me be propitious. So that I can dive into this knowledge, and this knowledge enhances and enriches me. Now, I told you I'm going to jump through the chapters. I'm going to go into chapter 9 for the simple reason this is the starting point of how to get this knowledge. Okay, people can keep discussing about Brahma Vidya without following the the preliminary disciplines for Brahma Vidya. So the 9th chapter is telling us how practically you should live to get this knowledge. What you should do in everyday life. So we will go there. Chapter 9, it's on page 276 in 8 Upanishads.
Part 1.
Yes. Ritam cha swadhyaya pravachane, that mantra.
Page 40 in this book.
If you go into these mantras, you will understand the relationship between truth and this knowledge, how it is to be studied, why the charcha of this is important, and why this learning is important, and how it is connected to the different aspects of your life. All this they are saying in these mantras. See? In the introduction, actually, it is very nicely put. From the statement that knowledge alone leads to the attainment of sovereignty or realization, it may follow that the duties enjoined by Vedas and Smritis are useless. In order to avoid such a contingency, the duties are being presented here so that they may be shown as contributory to the attainment of human goals. What is to be done in everyday life for you to establish yourself in this knowledge? They are telling you. Ritam cha swadhyaya pravachane cha Satyam cha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Satyam cha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Tapascha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Tapascha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Damascha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Damascha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Shamascha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Shamascha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Agnayascha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Agnayascha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Agnihotram cha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Agnihotram cha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Atithayascha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Atithayascha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Manusham cha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Manusham cha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Praja cha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Praja cha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Prajanascha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Prajanascha swadhyaya pravachane cha
Prajatischa swadhyaya pravachane cha
Prajatischa swadhyaya pravachane cha
Satyamiti satyavacharathi taraha
Satyamiti satyavacharati
Rathi taraha Tapaiti tapo nitya paurushishtih
Tapaiti tapanitya
paurushishtih Swadhyaya pravachane eveti nako modgalyaha Swadhyaya pravachane eveti nako modgalyaha Tadvidhi tapas tadvidhi tapaha
Tadvidhi tapas tadvidhi tapaha
Iti navamo anuvakaha.
Iti namava anuvakaha.
See, what they are telling us is what is to be practiced Ritam cha swadhyaya pravachane cha. Ritam. Ritam is, the Vedic concept of rhythm in life. If you want rhythm in your life, if you want harmony in your life, rhythm with the entire cosmos, there must be certain amount of righteousness. It must be a righteous life, which means committed to right living. So righteousness and learning and teaching are to be practiced. Ritam cha swadhyaya pravachane cha. Without this deep understanding that without a righteous life, I cannot, what will happen? You can't be at peace with yourself without a righteous life. If you have 4 tracks running at any given moment of time, all in different directions, can you be at peace with yourself? I'm asking you. So an unrighteous life brings that. So in order to obliterate all these kinds of effects, in order to keep your mind clean and pure, Ritam, discover that you are a part of universal life and you have to function in harmony with it. That is why truth. That is why service. That is why the right attitudes towards others. Otherwise, you will break that harmony. So you see, the next one is Satyam cha swadhyaya pravachane cha. Always practice truth and learning and teaching. Now here we must understand the importance of learning and teaching. Many people think, oh, I'm very practical. We should be practical. No need of learning and teaching. Is this the right attitude? Tell me. Why? You may be very active physically. What about your mind? It will be active in other ways. But when you are learning and teaching, it is engaged in a particular thought process. You are building the sanskars for the higher life. How do you create a sanskar? By repeating vritti, by repeating thought. So when you are deeply engaged in something like this, learning this and teaching this, you have the right vrittis in your head, so you will have the right sanskars for the higher life. That is why learning and teaching are to be practiced. See how many times the Upanishad is telling us. Don't ignore this aspect. We need teachers at all levels. If you don't teach this knowledge in your own capacity to the people around you, it will get lost. This we did for many centuries, I want you to know. When only some people take the prerogative for transmitting this knowledge, a large portion of it gets lost and it won't go to the other sections of society. So this should not happen. So we need teachers at all levels. Everywhere, you are fundamentally an influencer in the Chittakash. All of us are thinking, you affect others with your thoughts. So think rightly, that's all they are telling you. Think about these things and you will influence others very positively. Instead of thinking about matter, think about spirit. And influence the people around you with that. That's why Swadhyaya and Pravachana are important. So that your mind is thinking of the right things. Think about real life. Think about consciousness. All our problems today, they may appear to be very different, but they are all due to our incapacity for mind management. Isn't it? Our incapacity for emotional security. These two things are key factors in today's societies: mind management and emotional security. These two can only be gained by right thinking. Even in Buddhism, they have 8 disciplines. Yes, in Buddhism. Eightfold path. The first is right thinking, right thought. The Buddha was born as what? Buddhist? He was a Hindu. It's from here. He was Siddhartha Gautama. His teachers were yogic teachers. He practiced yoga. Then, of course, he felt it was not sufficient and he created his own. But what I'm telling you is this influence fell on that. That's why you find so many of these elements in Buddhism. It's a practical form of Hinduism, Buddhism. Vivekananda called it the offshoot of Hindu thought. So, righteousness and learning and teaching, and truth and learning and teaching are to be practiced. Then, tapasya swadhyaya pravachanechha. Tapa, austerity. Why austerity is important? You know it very well. See, so many of you are PhDs. You know the importance of austerity in life, isn't it? Only when you control at a particular level, you raise your energy to the higher level. Is this right? What I'm saying? Otherwise, the energy will waste itself there. You control one level, the energy gets raised to the next level. So you don't see your television for some time, you will become capable of deeper thought. This is how your energy works. Deep thinking will come into your life. Otherwise, just sense stimulation constantly. You are transmuting your energy, I want you to see. This is called transmuting energy from one level to another. In Sanskrit, it is called tapas. Tapasya is very important for realizing these things. Now you are trying to raise energy to the highest level. It will become awareness. Your own vital energy, if raised to a certain level, will unfold the highest awareness. So don't waste that energy. This is why all the disciplines of yoga and all this, it is meant for this. If you waste energy, you won't be able to do this. How will you transmute it? If you don't transmute it, you won't radiate it at that level. See, one energy only. How you use it? It's the law of conservation of energy. It applies to external energies. See, the solar energy, nuclear energy, all forms of energy. It also applies to internal energy, vital energy, prana. Same law of conservation of energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can be transformed from one form to another. Now, how to transform this vital energy? By tapas. You are converting that very energy into the highest form of awareness. If you waste it on, only the sense garbage all around you all the time, it will get wasted there. See, we have this 100-watt bulbs here, no? If I have to get complete 100-watt light, I must make sure that the wires don't have any leaks. It's a complete transmission of energy. Then I will have full 100-watt light. So that light is your awareness. If you have complete transmission of energy, it will lead to complete awareness. That is why the importance of tapas. Anybody who's an achiever in life knows this. So take care of your energy. That is why this brahmacharya, this disciplines of yam, niyam, all this. Then dhamma. Dhamma is again control of the outer organs, your senses. See, these are all inlets to mind. The outer organs, control. It also includes your motor organs. Simply roaming about, simply doing something and taking in all sorts of stuff with your senses. It is all ahar, not just what you eat. What you take in through your eyes also is ahar for your mind. What you hear also is ahar. So if all this is regulated, controlled, then it is possible to do this, they are telling us. So let there be dhamma along with svadhyaya and pravachan. Then let there be shama, control of the inner organs. The mind, antakaran, control of that. Shamascha Swadhyaya Pravachanecha. That's the most difficult thing, isn't it? Control of mind. But there's a way to it. There's a way to it because the mind is your instrument. Do you believe it can be controlled, or you believe, no, I'm hopeless? Huh? I can't do anything. Somebody has to do it for me. Usually, people are searching for a guru to do just that. Guru means not anybody who transforms your energies. It is about, my mind is so bad, do something and somehow you stop it. That's why they are searching for a guru. But your guru is always smarter than you. He will know that unless you have regulated life energy, you can't control mind. So he will put you through a discipline. I will stop my thoughts by force. It won't work. Your willpower will fail miserably. Although just now you may think, karke dikhaunga. It will fail. Because the human will itself is limited. So that's why a disciplinary course of life is so important. I always tell it in my talks, a sattvic life. There's no substitute to that. If you have a sattvic life, you will know all this just like that. So adopt a lifestyle which will truly transform your vital energies so as to enable control of mind. Otherwise, just through thought, you can't control thought. Are you getting my point? Because the same energy which is giving you one thought is also giving you the other thought. The expression of your thought is due to your vital energies. You have compromised them and you're trying to control thought. How will it work? That's why it's a graded course, this entire thing. So, Shamascha Swadhyaya Pravachanecha. Then you have Agnayascha Swadhyaya Pravachanecha, which means the fires are to be kept up. Here, which are these three fires? You remember in the Vedic age, there were three fires which were it was a kind of ritual, which were supposed to be lighted. And they had to be kept lit all through the day. Garhapati, all this you must have heard, Avaniya. These were the types of fires you had to light and keep them lit so as to remind you of your spiritual purpose. But today you can do some simple ritual at home. Even lighting a lamp and doing a simple arti has an impact on your mind. After your meditation or before your meditation, do a simple ritual. You will see how nice it feels. Some way of reminding yourself about your spiritual purpose. Otherwise, the mind, will keep getting carried away by this and that. The nature of the mind is like that. So keep up all this, they are telling you, along with Swadhyaya and Pravachana. Again and again, they are insisting on Swadhyaya Pravachanecha so that your mind remains at this level. Feed the mind with the right thing, that is learning, and teach it, transmit it to others. Anybody who holds knowledge within himself without giving it to others will lose it. This is the law of life. Anything you can't hold within yourself, you have to pass it to others. Knowledge also is like that. Because you are only a conduit to the expression of life energy. How can you hold it back? Your thought through which you have your knowledge, it is the highest expression of that vital energy. So you will have to give it to others. That's why make this the philosophy of your life. This is what they are telling you. So Agnayascha Swadhyaya Pravachanecha, Agnihotram cha Swadhyaya Pravachanecha. You have heard of Agnihotra? Some of you are doing. It's a small ritual, like a Sandhya Vandan, which you do for reminding you of your spiritual goal. Many people have substituted this form of ritual for the normal spiritual practice, some form of upasana or some ritual like an arti or something like that. That's okay. But this was the Vedic ritual for. That's why Agnihotra is mentioned here, Taittiriya Upanishad. So Agnihotra and learning and teaching are to be carried on. Atithayascha swadhyaya pravachane. Guests are to be respected, adored, served. Why?
Blessings.
Yes. You
Guest
know.
is also Brahman.
Yes. Most of all, the blessings, the grace of other minds are required for your progress. Am I right? Have you seen this? See, if you have people all around you who are just bickering and not wanting your progress, can you progress? That is why the dua of another mind is more important than the action. That is why learn to serve guests, learn to respect others. See that the blessings of their mind come to you. See that the whole creation supports your spiritual effort. Otherwise, it won't work. See. So take care of the family. That's also very important. You know, many people come and tell us the problem is in the family. See, that you feel that way. I'm telling you that's not a fact. Because it is one pran, you know. One family is one vital force functioning in different bodies. You feel that way, that they are not working for me, only because you're too close. Because you're living too close to each other. So that closeness makes you feel like that. What I want, that person is not doing. So, not for me. So don't have such expectations and you won't have such problems. This is what I'm telling you. Don't expect or impose yourself on your family. Family is the closest pool of energy you have for your growth. You must see that it works for you. Are you realizing this point? Because all of you are householders, I'm telling you this. Don't go against your, see, spirituality is not about fighting with your family and then going away somewhere and sitting in silence. It won't work. Without the dua of another, all those minds who have worked for you, who have served you, who have been responsible to make you what you are, how will your spirituality work, tell me? It's a karmic pool. Are you understanding it? Family is a karmic tangle and a huge pool of vital energy which can function for you or against you. You have to decide. If you want it to work for you, consciously adopt measures that bring peace into the family, that bring harmony. And don't impose your expectations on your children. And things will work. Because you see, you invested vital energy into them. Now you require all that vital energy to support your spiritual effort. If you didn't have a family, it's a different thing. Isn't it? Now your vitality is invested into so many beings, other beings. So you need their support now. So that is why Atithayascha, and this includes everyone around you. Learn to keep peace in the family. Learn to keep harmony in the family. See that vital energy works for you. Because if some energy is working against you, how can you proceed? Tell me. Somebody is roping you and trying to pull you in the other direction. How will you go forward? This is what happens actually. So that's why you see, Manusham cha swadhyaya pravachane cha. Take care of your guests and take care of the people around you. And that's why social good conduct should be practiced towards all people around you. And then praja cha swadhyaya pravachane cha. The progeny has to also work towards you for your spiritual efforts. Are you getting what they are saying? It won't work otherwise. If you're desperately quarreling in the family and moving away from people, don't think you will find your silence in some cave. Only when you can live peacefully with 1,000 different minds, you can live very peacefully in the cave. Is this making sense? The family you created, it's an investiture of your vital energy. Now you have to see that it works for you. That is your responsibility. So everything has to progeny, everything has to work towards this. This is what they're saying. Prajanasya swadhyaya pravachanecha prajatisya swadhyaya, which means whatever is in your lineage, your line, the progeny, the grandson, all this including grandson, great grandson, your nieces, nephews, everyone, the energy of everyone is important. Because I told you, family is a huge karmic tangle. You have to work your way through it, not out of it. Then Satyamiti Satyavacharathi Taraha. Truth is the thing. This is what Satyavacha of the line of Rathitara thinks. Rathitara was a great knower of Brahman, a rishi. So, this is the advice of Satyavacha. That's the name of the rishi who has given these mantras. And he concludes by saying, Tapa iti tapo nitya paurushishtihi. Austerity is the thing. This is what Tapo Nitya, the son of Purushishti, thinks. So the comments of the different rishis are being given here. Tapo Nitya thinks that austerity is the most important thing. And then Naka, the son of Mudgala, thinks learning and teaching are the most important things. For indeed, this is austerity. See, it is in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Learning and teaching, tadvidhi tapa, tadvidhi tapaha. Again and again they are saying learning and teaching is austerity because it is engagement of your mind. Isn't it? That is the austerity actually. Don't think many people are used to physical austerities. Have you seen? Earlier times, no, they would even stand with a hand raised for hours and hours in the hot sun. It's a form of physical austerity.
Hatha yoga.
Hatha yoga. So many forms of physical austerities were there. But see what the Upanishad tells. Mental austerity is the austerity. Thakur also says this. Monni ekota, he used to say. To keep your mind on these things and to open up to the pure awareness that you are. That is real austerity. So never give up swadhyaya pravachanecha. Never give up these two. Swadhyaya pravachane eveti nako modgalyaha tadvidhi tapa. Remember, engagement and application of mind is tapasya. That comes through learning and teaching. So if you ignore this, the mental involvement will not be there in all this. So you will be the loser. Today we are really creating a knowledge society, even here in India, isn't it? We are poised at being the 5th largest economy on the planet. And one day it will be the 3rd largest. So you will create a knowledge society, no doubt. Then what will you do with the mind? See, 200 years back, the person with the biggest muscle was the boss everywhere. And everything was measured in terms of military power. Isn't it? That's why conquering other nations was the thing to do. Now it's all ulta ho gaya hai. The might of your buddhi is what matters, not your muscle power. So we are created a knowledge society. Now where you apply that mind is what matters most. That is why he is insisting here. This indeed is austerity. So understanding this, we will move on to chapter 10. It's time. Time is up. So we will continue tomorrow. Did you understand the significance of this chapter? Oh, we went a long way today. It's a very important chapter. Okay? So homework will be you go through this and we will meet afternoon for Q&A. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.